What up, everyone? What up? Sorry for the delay. I know. But right now, all good things, good things come to those that are patient and wait. So I'm happy to be here. But you know what? I couldn't do this all by myself. Well, I could do it by myself, but y'all want to see some controversy. You want to see some chaos, and I happen to have two gentlemen that thrive off chaos, just in different ways. They aren't afraid of your hate, so send in your comments, hate on them. They're happy to take it and then shoot it right back at you. So I mean, hey, let's go ahead and start. The dude's no schmo. He ain't average, that's for damn sure. So let's go ahead and bring him on to the show. And again, he'll shoot right back because he's ear no earmuffs. Joe.
Yeah, what up? What up?
What up, son? What up, John? What up, John?
We're here. We're doing it. We're ready to go.
Ready to do it? All right. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Oh, all right. We are privileged to have him on before he goes back to work next week. We're lucky to have him right now. All right. Rocking the fresh jersey in his grand piano in his mansion. Awesome. His luxury layout. Hey, another guy who likes chaos, but he does it in a less calculated fashion. He has no issues of mixing it up. He has no issues of absolutely just tearing it up. He is known. He apparently changed his nickname today, but I'm still going to call him JR because he ain't no junior. He's the senior when it comes to absolute nonsense, but still. He has the IQ, but he'll make you think otherwise. Hey, Jordan Ramos, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right here.
Well, am I going to win a prize? Please? Is it going to be money?
You're the prize. You're the prize, man.
Yay.
You're the prize. You and Joe are the prize here.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, you switched up on me last night. So what's your new nickname here? Let's see here. What do you got? Let's see here. Timber Puppies. I'm not sure what that even means.
You'll see.
I would say I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know. We'll find out. So everyone, let's get back into this sucker here. There was a game last night, and it was. Well, it's like I watch these games in the East, and it's like watching a deja vu every time. It's literally like watching the same game over and over again. So when they were down, the Pacers were, up by 18. Did anyone really hear on this panel, were they really surprised that the C's came back and won? Because we've seen that movie before, 4 times in a row. So let's go ahead and hop into this subject. The C's survive another L. At the risk of beating this topic into the ground, is that battle tested enough for the Kings of the East? Or will they be usurped by the presumable Western champs? And it cut it off. Executive producers want to apologize. What it's supposed to say, and the Outlaws and the Texas toast of the town in Dallas, the Mavericks. So let's assume that. I apologize for it being cut off. Apparently, executive producers got lazy. So let's go ahead and start with y'all. Let's go ahead and start with Joe. Let's start with you, man.
Well, they're definitely at the stage where it doesn't matter just to get there. They've been there before. and didn't get it done the first time around. Hope they're 100% going in. And I mean, there was a huge impetus in them finishing the game, finishing the series in 4. That way, they didn't have to. They can give Porzingis all the rest and treatment leading up to a final series. So I'm hoping they get Kristaps game 1 of whatever the finals do start. To be honest, I'm kind of hoping Minnesota steals a game just so that can buy him some more time, because I don't want next year's thing to be, oh, well, we didn't have Porzingis. I don't want there to be another excuse, even though the world at large won't have one. But yeah, as far as them winning the chip, I mean, it's there for them to take. I mean, if you're going to go up against a team that the majority of their scoring are going to come from two perimeter players. I mean, you got 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the game, in Derek White and Drew Holiday. And then if Brown's really feeling himself, he can take one of them in crunch time. So for 4 minutes a game, you can get a Jordan on Doncic or Jordan on Kyrie. Which if it's between the 2, I definitely think he'd jump on Kyrie, if I'm being honest, just because they have that same kind of like, they have similar builds in the sense that, he's shifty. He's the faster of him and Tatum. So if you're going to have a situation where 4 minutes crunch time, you need to lock it down, Brown's going to be your guy on one of them, and then maybe put Drew or White on the other. Drew's bigger, so I would say put Drew on Doncic, on Luka, if anything. They could get it done, but I mean they're at the stage where they kind of have to get it done, because they've been doing this dance for several years now, and all the pieces are in place. Diversified on offense, you have a low post presence in Porzingis if healthy. You got the perimeter. You have the 3-point shooting. You have a pretty decent bench when enough to get spell your starters. I mean, obviously your lineup is going to be your lineup in crunch time, but you have the guys who have been playing throughout the season. There have been a lot of blowouts during the season, so those guys were getting minutes, either whether it's mop up time or injuries, because there was a spell where the Celtics were running into injuries there in the middle there. So the lineup's there, playing time's there, a coach who's ultimately had experience in the playoffs, used to expectations now at this point. You just got to go get it done. So do I think they can? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not ready to make a prediction just yet, but they certainly have all the pieces in place.
Okay. Well, let me clarify a little bit more. They have the pieces in place, but I heard today, and Jordan, I want you to piggyback off of this, but I want to ask Joe this real quick. When I mean battle tell, one of the things was Udonis Haslem has been on ESPN a couple of days in a row now, and he says that his biggest thing about him is, and Shannon Sharp tried kind of combating him on this, saying like, he's like, they haven't been battle tested. I'm going with the team that's actually had to go through more adversity. And then Shannon said, like, well, they've had to come back. They've had to come back from these deficits. Like, yeah, but all they had to do was just not F it up. And they basically, because you can count on the Pacers to come in the fourth quarter and just do everything wrong.
No, is that not overcoming adversity? I mean,
I don't know. I think he means
this is their first time here. Like, Horford's been in several playoff situations. Holiday's a champion.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown have been in countless playoff situations. They've had the disappointment of getting to the dance and failing. Like I kind of hear the argument in terms of like leading up to this particular year. Maybe not losing it. I mean, you're penalizing them for not losing as many games as far as finding adversities. Like, they just happen to overcome the adversity within the game and not waiting to lose a game to overcome it afterwards. Like, these are players that have been there and kind of done that. The only thing they haven't done is win the chip. So I don't understand that argument.
Well, no, I mean, I think what it comes down to is, like, because yes, you have to win you play who's in front of you, and whether they cast a spell on every opponent they have to where their best player gets injured in every series. The only thing they lost Krishnas, but they still kept their main core. And I guess what he's saying is, like, the Knicks. When I think of adversity overcoming it, I think of the Knicks in the playoffs. They overcame ridiculous adversity, and that's who I think they set the standard of being the ones that overcame adversity. And eventually, they just couldn't get over so much that they had lost. And then I don't know. That's, I guess I see, but I know what you're talking about. I see that. Hey, Jordan, why don't you hop in? Same question, same prompt.
They did overcame, like, the Celtics did overcame, like, some depth, I think 3 deficits against the Pacers in this series. But then again, like, it's the Pacers. Like they were expected to, like, crush them. Like, Boston has a lot of high expectations, and they need to win. They need to win a championship, because, like, if they don't, then, like, there's gonna be a lot of question marks. But yeah, like, I do think they did overcome that adversity, but, like, and they had the pieces to beat Dallas, to at least take a couple of games against Dallas in the finals, hopefully. But they'll find a way. But I always see them finding a way to choke, because they did last year against the Celtics. They did last year against the Heat. They did 2 years ago against the Warriors. They did. I think they lost. They lost in 2020, but
They
I forgot who.
They lost to the Heat 2 years in 2 of the last 3 years. They lost to the Heat
Exactly
in the second round. Then they lost in the championship, and then they lost in when they
Eastern
had
Conference champion.
Yeah, I think the championship was the finals loss to the
Warriors.
Yeah, and they had a 2-0 lead, and they just they just
they'll find a way to choke this.
That's
all I'm saying, unless they prove me wrong.
Joe, back to you, man. I want to see you got anything to retort on or push back on.
It's a different team, and I think all things considered, I think the majority of people at large can tell it's a different team, right? Veteran leadership, different pieces. I don't think you can just overvalue or undervalue, whatever the term is, in terms of Holiday's presence on this team, who has been to the dance, who has won the championship. I really don't know how you can undersell that as far as a mentality standpoint. I give a lot of props to Kyrie and him kind of like coming into this piece with who he is in the grand scheme of things, not just in his personal life, but just kind of like in this basketball world. I don't think you can undersell that combination of just clarity in all facets of your life. I think Jaylen Brown is kind of like getting to that point with who he is on this team. One of the biggest knocks on him, bad turnovers when trying to do too much. And in that last possession in that game against Indy, dribbling through 3 people but making the right basketball play, kind of giving like the fake look to Tatum on the right, hitting Derek White in the corner. These are plays, these are crunch time plays that he wasn't making earlier in the previous playoff appearances. This is a show of growth in him not forcing up a shot just to prove some sort of like, oh, I'm the alpha here, or oh, I am clutch. He just made the right basketball play.
I had to push back.
Could have turned it over there, made the right basketball play. This is a sign of growth and a sign of why I believe this team is different than all the other teams who have come into this previously. The pieces are different, the coach is different, and the players have grown not only as people but as basketball players. And just one tie-up as far as the Haslam front is, the guy's a self-professed Celtics hater, okay? And I
Yeah, that is true.
21-year veteran with the same team who are also self-professed Celtic haters. You kind of got to take that analysis with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't feel the way that he does about this team just because of the road leading up to it. You could say, oh, they've been coasting through the regular season. They had the number 1 seed wrapped up in February, or you could say this, that, and the other about their climb here, the series up until this point. The fact is, previous Celtics teams might have choked before this happens. The fact that they've gone through who they've gone through in the manner they've gone through it, and they're still here, says to me that this team's ready to do what they need to do. Now they just have 4 more games to win.
That's fair. Here's the other. He also,
Yeah.
the person that agreed with him was Kendrick Perkins, and he is a self-proclaimed Celtics lover of that. He's like, well, it's his team. He has a ring with them. So, I mean, but he
also called the Pacers over the called the Knicks over the Pacers too. So.
Well, yeah, but that was I mean,
Jerome.
no, I think we all kind of. I was on the fence about that one, but the way the Knicks were playing, I could have seen that. It was just the injuries, but the way that Brunson's playing, or was playing. Here's the only thing I'll say to add to it. You made good points. Both of y'all do, and we've kind of talked about this with the Celtics. It's when they resort back, when they start effing up, it's when they revert back to bad habits. Like towards the end of a game, well, Brown has been the most valuable player of any of their playoff runs every year. It's never Tatum. Tatum is usually not the guy who's taking them across the finish line or close to the finish line. This year, Drew Holiday is. I love that you mentioned Drew Holiday. He is a set. As soon as they signed him, I didn't like them moving on from Marcus Smart until they signed Drew Holiday, and then I was like, no, okay, that's an upgrade. Drew Holiday is a leader. He's humble, and he's a better defender, and he's not going to give you all these flops and antics, and he's not going to get injured as much. So I think he's a bigger asset than Porzingis has been. So I think he has been, at least, especially as a leader presence. But here's the reverting back to bad habits I was talking about. Tatum should be taken into the hole most of the time, playing from the inside out. The way that Cat should have done it in a different way, but similar, but going from the inside, and that sets up the 3. Tatum will do this. Like I said this on several shows, where he'll do like the crossover. Looks like he's going to take, but it's step back, and he takes a lower percentage shot, and he allows them to get off the hook. Brown can get into that as well, and what they do is they start taking too many threes, and they bury themselves. And they're not going to. I'll say this: the Mavs will not. They will present way more of a defensive. They match up way better against them than the Pacers do. It's the championship. It should be that way. So, Jordan, bring us home on this point.
Yeah, Boston definitely needs Tatum to step up, because he's been like Gasper. He just disappears. Like they need him. They need him to step up. Like I remember all that. The test to Kobe. Him being a clown. I'm like, dude, just show up for one game, for one finals game. Show up at least once.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. it's going to be interesting to see what Tatum does, if he can take the criticism and roll with it, or is this going to be another? Because Derek Weiss played better this year ever since they made fun of his Shaq and Charles made fun of his hairline, and he went bald and he shaved bald. He's played a lot better. So, coincidence? Speaking for bald people, I don't know.
You still have some hair, E-Rock. Don't worry. You still have some hair.
I don't care. I actually like shaving my head now. It's cool with me. I need to go back to the barber here, man. Get a little trim going on here. But yeah, man, it's Derek White is going to be a big part of it because he's going to have to be covering. Let's also see if the bench, losing Grant Williams, that was an enforcer, losing other parts of their offense. I don't think obviously losing Robert Williams hasn't been any kind of difference. You can ask the Portland Trailblazers about that, but we'll see. I'm excited for this, but tonight we're going to have to get that first. And that leads us in, because you said something earlier, Joe, which made me think, and I've been preaching this a lot. And we were talking about blaming Stifle Tower as Trudy Gobert. Trudy Gobert was, he had a lot. Perkins had a lot of hate. Perk had a lot of hate on him. But I think it's systemic, and I think it's what's coaching got to do with it? Got to do with it. So the best coach in these playoffs so far, I think we can all, or at least we can all agree, is Jason Kidd. He's done the best job coaching and doing adjustments that's left in this postseason. Thibodeau did a good job for what he had, and that's me giving Tibbs credit. I don't usually give Thibodeau. I'm giving him his flowers. This is probably the best coaching job I've seen Tibbs do. But he's not in the race right now. But Jason Kidd, after having the other coaches and Chris Finch and Rick Carlisle, Carr Izzel, they had a great conference semifinals or conference semi-championship, or semifinal round. And then something just happened where Chris Finch has not been able to figure out. And granted, Luka there's an unmovable object, an unstoppable force in the two people at the backcourt. But even then, he hasn't changed any of his. He should have changed lineups, in my opinion, to Nas, like where he puts Trudy in the 6-man rotation, because Nas Reed, like you said earlier, moves better laterally than Rudy does. So I think that's a lot of that. And Rick Carlisle, enough said. This series, he didn't. The timeout, the lack of timeouts, the gaffing of plays, the dumb like draw ups. I don't know what happened. So that's my piece on it. Now, let me get on this. Who has done? Do you think coaching has been the biggest issue of these two teams in these conference championships? And if so, and even if not so, who has cost their team the most? Let's go start with Jordan this time.
For me personally, with Carlisle, like he basically waved the right flag in game two. Like that's just basically telling Boston, hey, we'll get you in game 3, bro. Guess what? They keep blowing leads. Like they aren't making the adjustment they need to make. Like it's just mind blowing. He was a championship quality coach. Like he was a really good coach, but now like this, it's just mind boggling how they keep blowing these leads. Like it's just.
It's like watching deja vu over and over again. Like every game, it's like the definition of doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. What's that word that the definition is for? I think Einstein said it. Starts with an I. Insanity. Expecting a different result, doing something over and over and expecting a different result, and that's what it was.
Insanity, baby.
Not to be confused with Vinsanity, but this was just redundancies and stupidity. This was redundancies and stupidity. It was so unnerving. As soon as I even saw them up by 18 last night in the third quarter, I was like, that doesn't mean Dude, that doesn't mean boo-boo.
Good.
That doesn't mean boo-boo, because that's going to get, like, lost in a second. And then next thing I know, they're down by 2. Then they're up. And
You know what I say? Good. Keep complaining about the Reds while keep
All right.
blowing leads, Ricky.
all right, sour grapes here. All right. Joe's not even sour, and he's a Knicks fan too. All right, Joe.
Let me be bitter.
Joe, carry over on this, man.
I think the reason why you see 2 series the way they're playing out is you can clearly see the teams that have been there before and the teams that haven't. You can give all the criticism you want on the 2 coaches in play, but what you've really got to understand in the whole nuance of how these things works is that experience is your best is basically your best way to learn. And you have a team that's never been this far in the playoffs as presently constructed in Indiana and Minnesota. Minnesota's been in the play-in a couple of times, and then they got swept by the Nuggets one year with their core group as it stands. Indiana hasn't been here in a hot minute. So you've got 2 teams that are going to have to basically learn from these growing pains and run it back next year with the experience of what happened this year. Dallas is a perennial playoff team. Boston's a perennial playoff team. Boston's been a perennial championship contending team. So when they understand the ebbs and flows within the game during the playoffs, they understand that, no lead is insurmountable if they play exactly the way they know how to play. Continuity is key. I think in the second half of the season, Dallas found something as far as how they need to operate offensively between Luka and Kyrie, and they've carried it straight into the playoffs. They just kind of like feed off each other in the sense that they know when the other has it going, and they just know when to pick their spots, and it's led them in a lot of ways to because they're so secure in what they're doing and how they need to do things, that they know exactly how to get the others involved. And I always say that the stars can be stars, but if you don't have the others contributing, then you're not going to get as far as where you want to go.
Fair.
To talk about, who's more at fault, Rick or Chris Finch? I mean, you're just dealing with guys who just haven't been this far in the playoffs before. And something that I also want to touch on, it's something, like I said, I consume a lot of content. Kevin Garnett was on the Up and Smoke podcast recently and talking about these young Wolves, and he made a mention of just like body-wise, mentally and physically, to get this far in the playoffs is a taxing thing. It's the way players go into the seasons now, they use the preseason, they use summer league, they use training camp to get ready. Back in the day, that wasn't the case. People were coming in ready. Like, they were coming in ready to go, except for Shaq. But I mean, when you're Shaq and you're the Diesel, like, you can just walk in there and back someone into the paint.
Yeah, or Charles Barkley or anything like that.
For the most part, the dogs who were dogs, they were coming into the season ready to go, and it's a little different in this era. The top dogs, that's James Harden, like, prime example of using the preseason to get ready. That man is in every club from here to Cancun during the off season, and sometimes
that's all he does. Goes to clubs, it gets fat, comes in overweight.
Ready before the season anymore.
Get that fat suit ready, man.
But I thought that was a very, very salient point that Kevin Garnett made about the Timberwolves specifically, on how the mental and physical grind to get to this point in the season. That's why you see an Anthony Edwards just gas, because he's putting all that effort on the defensive end. There's not enough on the offensive end, and that's highlighted by the fact that he doesn't have any help on the offensive end right now. Like if Cat was shooting 50, 40, and 90, they may be up 2-1 right now. Because even with the energy output that Edwards is putting on the offense and defense, at least he has the sanctity of knowing that his sidekick, his Robin, is pulling his weight and carrying that extra. But because it's not, it's even more focused on now because they keep losing in the last 4 minutes of the game. Why? Because your star doesn't have the juice to close.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I think that kitty in him.
it's more experience than it has directly to do with coaching. But I will say, Chris Finch not using Reed in your closing lineup after 5 is
Absurd.
a big deal. And if you're not going to use him at the 5, then you can't switch on the picks.
Exactly. You got to fight through it. You got to fight through. And I did see that. A little bit more. In terms of like McDaniels fighting through to get to cover whoever's on, but on the game in question, the game that we know, step back 3 that Jay Crossover called before the play even happened, on that play, they switched on the two offensive possessions. They switched on the Kyrie had Gobert, and then they switched on the Doncic, and Doncic cooked them. Yeah.
That's a schematic thing. So if I'm gonna choose Chris on that alone, just lineup wise. I think Rick just has a young team, and then he didn't have all of his horses. So those two put together really kind of hamstrung him. Even though I do feel like, Andrew, he was doing Brunson-like things in there, but he also did Brunson-like things in turning it over and maybe taking ill-advised shots, because he was the one having the offense going. I mean, you guys saw what was it last night? Literally 2 possessions, turnover inside the paint, ill-advised 3 on the corner. That wing side, ill-advised 3. And then TJ misses a bunny from 11 on the right hash, which he honestly could have set himself. There was nobody there. He could have set himself and taken a proper shot there, but he shot it on the move, missed that bunny. So, I mean, when you're a young team like that and you're going against a veteran team like that, it's those little things that's the difference between winning and losing. And they literally saw that every single one of those 4 games that they lost against Boston. And I think that's really more experience, youth, than coaching. So I would choose Chris over Rick if I'm going to place blame.
I agree with everything you said except for that one thing. Although I will say this about, I'm like, even on, especially, we said this a couple of shows ago. Can't remember which one it was. It was on this or Curious Sports Plus. But it was, we were talking about, even on that play with the step back Trey, you got to fight through that screen. And even if it's a defensive foul, like you charge through them, at least they're getting 2 free throws, not 3. That's the thing. And it stops the clock. And the thing with the by the way, Stephen A. Smith, that's how you use nice words. Salient. See, he's not making up words like a salientable. People just always like glance over. If you guys ever watch Stephen A. Smith, he's not like he's dumb, but he like tries to roll with it and like make up words where it's just like, and it's like, oh, we'll glance past it. I'm like, no, I know that's not a word. All right, come on. What are you, Webster's now? You're gonna make all your own words here? You're gonna unbreakable, unscriminalipidus. I don't know. It's like Dr. Seuss over here. So that's how you do it. Salient point. There you go. I like that. There you go. All right, that's good journalism talk right there. Shout out to Joe over here. There you go.
Listen, I'm in master classes right now, so I can't take all the credit. My vocabulary needs to be on.
No. You're a good student. You're a good student. You obtained it. No, wait, hold up. Am I looking at? Are you wearing a One Tree Hill shirt?
I am.
I just not noticed that. I just not know.
Shout out.
I'm not gonna hate on it. That's just awesome. I think you know where that was filmed, right?
Wilmington. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out.
It was Dawson's Creek. I have a very big affinity for the shows that have come out of their old Wilmington down there.
Wilmington is they call it
They're up there for me.
Atlanta is like the Hollywood of the South, but Wilmington's right there next to it. They haven't been
Wow.
doing it recently because North Carolina has this weird law. It sucks. We're not going to get into that. Hey, if you like that, have you watched Bel Air yet? Like that sort of spinoff series they did they did like a drama version of.
I caught a few guppies. Yeah, I caught a few. I have to catch up.
That's
Awesome.
that show is awesome. It's deep, bro. I mean, it's kind of sad because then I have to watch an episode of the comedy because I have to see the light side of things, the levity of the other show. Because it's like, damn, man,
You can't follow through drama. You gotta throw some laughs in there.
I was like, Uncle Phil's not supposed to be like. Although the guy who plays Jeffrey's character is badass because he's basically just like an enforcer. He's like he's an enforcer. He's like, don't worry, I take care of it. He's the manager. He's not a butler. He's the house manager. But what he is, he's like, I need you to go look in on someone. Feels like a Bob boss. That part's kind of cool, but Jeffrey's the coolest. But it's like, all right, everyone, you should watch Bel Air. I had my worries. That's good, but make sure you're ready for some deep-ish. All right. The only thing I will push back on when it comes to everything you said, because you also made salient points. Yeah, there we go. Continue it there. Very cogent and keen points there. I have to blame Rick Carlisle more because it is experience. One can be true with the other. Chris Finch also is inexperienced in these kind of positions, and he did coach really well in the previous series. It's also a thing, like you said, it's a game of matchups. In the playoffs, Nuggets would have matched up better with the Mavs, but they didn't match up as well with the Wolves. So, but I have to actually say, Rick Carlisle is a former champion, and it was a legitimate championship. Like he beat he was the underdog team, and ironically, Jason Kidd, I'm pretty sure, was actually on that team who's coaching the Mavs right now. Gotta love the irony of all this. Can't make this ish up, but I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's Rick. The reason Rick Carlisle is because he let his team, who was inexperienced, run amok in the fourth. Like he wasn't calling timeouts at the right time. He wasn't calling timeouts when there's 5-second violations on the line, or even stopping with timeouts when Nembhard is going down the court and just loses the ball like he's got octopus arms and Drew Holiday, he may have fouled him, but they're not gonna call that most likely. But still, I mean, he was out of control. And the plays he drew up to finish the game. What is Naismith Naismith, like what is he doing with the ball on a running tray from the corner? That's a terrible shot. What kind of play you drew up on that? It's like it almost went in. Yes, it almost went in. But, that's the only thing I'd push back on what you said. But everything else, you're right. It's 100%. It's a systemic thing, but coaching got to do with it. I think there's been just gaffes and lapse in judgment. And Jason Kidd, and I'm not even saying Joe Mazzulla has done a great job. I think it's just he has more talent, or he has a more talented team. But Jason Kidd's coaching circles around everyone right now, and he's managed to catch lightning in a bottle with the resurgence, like as you pointed out, of Kyrie Irving. So we'll see tonight. I don't think it's going to be a sweep either. I think that we'll get to the picks in a minute. I got you. We'll get to the picks. But very good, cogent, salient points by both of you. I love our vocabulary today. We're like studying for the GRE apparently. So, all right, or the else. I don't remember. I can't. I'm not that on that. So, speaking of that, help wanted, coaching vacancies. So, where's the next place? If you were a coaching candidate, would you want, or not so much? Well, both. Would you like to, and also not so much like to be part of? And do you have ideas who the coach that they should hire would be? And the vacancies are, ew, got a stink bug land on me. Ew, nasty. Well, there you go. So the vacancies right now are the Lakers, the Cavs, the Hornets. Anyone tell me if I'm missing someone? Is the Nets? The Nets The Nets missing someone too.
No, I think the Nets hired someone, and I don't know. I know Charles Lee ended up somewhere, but I forget where.
Yeah, I think those are the three main ones, and I don't know. Like, in the Heat hired. Who'd they hire? Who did he hire again? Oh, they hired dude from Budenholzer. Yeah.
The Suns,
Okay.
the Suns hired Budenholzer.
Which is that's a weird fit. I don't see that being a very good fit, but that's okay. Square piece in a circle cog. That's what that is. Yeah, so those three positions I think the Blazers kept Chauncey Billups.
He's actually coaching your team.
Huh? Who is?
Charles Lee.
Who?
Charles Lee. He was hired as the Hornets coach.
When did we hire him?
I
didn't see this.
3 weeks ago.
I'm ashamed of myself. Wait, what? Wait, who is this man? Who is this man?
He's lead assistant for the Celtics.
His name is Charles Lynn.
Charles Lee.
Charles Lee.
Charles Lee. Did he play in the? Because there was David Lee, and then there was the Knicks, right? I don't know. Did he play? I don't know. Oh man, damn! I really
now Atlas Hall of Famer.
I don't think he played in the league.
Man, I really wanted. Man, I wanted to have JJ or who's the other one I'd mentioned to you, Jordan? I wanted him. Oh, or JB. Vickers. I wanted JB. Oh man, we could have just been patient. We could have hired JB. Maybe I'll eat my words on this, but
yeah. Lee.
All right, so we got two. Lee's hopefully he's successful. I hope so. Oh.
What we said about the last one.
He spent a lot of time with
I didn't say that about the last one. I thought Clifford was a terrible hire because you don't bring back a coach you've already fired again. It's just not. Although I love Steve Clifford and he is in charge, he has a front office position right now. He's like the vice president of basketball operations. So good for him. And I don't have a problem with that. I like him, but they should have never fired Boyega. That's why the Lakers are looking at Boyega right now. Him, Sam Cassell, and JJ obviously. Don't go to LA, JJ. All right, we'll get into that. All right, I'll let y'all take it from here. So I guess there's two main openings, and there's a possibility of. I think Ty Lue might consider leaving the LA Clippers. I could see that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I could see it. So tell me y'all's where would you want to be? Where would you not want to be? And maybe a candidate that you think would be good, the best for it. Joe, let's start with you this time.
I think the only two left are the Lakers and did the Wizards hire someone?
No, actually, I don't think they did. No, I don't think they did actually.
It's probably the Lakers and Wizards job, and honestly,
no, it's the Lakers, Wizards, and the damn it, I just said it. Oh no, it's not the Hornets.
Oh yeah, Cavs.
The Cavs. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to take a job, it would either be I would lean towards the Cavs, honestly.
Yeah.
You have to be a real alpha personality to take the Lakers job.
Yeah.
And I say that because the expectations are just so absurdly high there. Yeah. And I say absurdly because the talent level on that team will lend you to think that they should be better than they are. However, when the games are played, it never ends up that way. And so that's why they've gone through two coaches already during the LeBron era there. And that's why, as long as that's the case, they'll continue to do so. So it's going to take a real alpha personality there to take that job. And then the other side of that is, who wants to deal with that? who wants to deal with the fact that they just ran off a championship coach, and then secondly ran off a coach that arguably probably shouldn't have gotten the job to begin with. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure that Darvin was the personality or the X's and O's guy that was going to take them to the promised land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the promised land, Cancun.
I don't think a rookie coach gets that job. Like, I don't think a rookie coach should be the one that gets that job. Now, I understand that Reddick is in the running, and I understand that they are vibing on some really dope wine during their podcast, and maybe that's a de facto pseudo interview, unbeknownst to the rest of us, that he's doing with LeBron James. But I just don't. I don't think listen. So it's been tried before, right? It's been tried before. They Brooklyn got three dope people together and said, you know what, Steve Nash? Yeah, absolutely. This is a great idea. Let's go do that. And it didn't work, right? It didn't work. And then Jock had to take over, and it's like, oh, hey, we won games. Oh, hey, we traded 2/3 of this. We can still, yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely not. Yeah. Now they're devoting talent and coaching.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think it's got to be a veteran guy. It's got to be an alpha personality. It's got to be someone that commands respect. And unfortunately, they already have that in LA. He's just working for the other team. That's the problem. Like, the ideal person for a position like this would be a Tyronn Lue. They get the bonus that he's alumni, and they get the bonus that he is a champion, and he gets the bonus that he understands the personalities on this particular team, because he's a veteran of the game. He's a student of the game. He has relationships with just about everyone in the league. He's well renowned, well respected amongst the league. I just don't know if he would want to leave the situation he's in for a worse one. Why would you do that? Like, your issue with the squad you're on is that you can't keep you guys healthy. But when they're out there, damn it, they get stuff done. But you can't really say that about LA. I mean, they were reasonably healthy as far as like the starters. But they had Vincent for what, 10 games? So, who else did they not have for a good majority of time? And Vincent was their coup. That was their free agent signing.
They lost Reeves for a bit. Reeves played most of it, but then they lost Hachimura for a hot minute. They lost Vincent, or what his name is. They lost. People overrated how important he was on the defensive perimeter. That's a different story. I know. And then I think D'Lo was injured for a little while.
Point being, they had their two dogs for a majority of the season. It was only good enough for the 7th seed, and then they got waxed. And the problem is, the expectations are championship or bust there. Reasonably or unreasonably, that's the standard. The standard is the standard, as they say. So it's gonna take someone alpha to take that job, and the only one that I can think in my brain that would make sense is Tyronn Lue, and he's not going to lead the Clippers to go to the Lakers for a worse situation. It's stupid. Like, it'd be just career malpractice.
What about JB Bickerstaff? He's actually a coach now, and he improved that team every year, a little bit at a time. You don't think that?
No, Bickerstaff, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Jordan, if you were going to go. I'll just keep it quick as far as JB is concerned. He's the guy you hire to get to the guy that you hire to get to the championship. He's the grower.
Ouch.
And And okay, so let's just look at this let's scale it back and look at it with a microscope, right? Let's look at what happened in Golden State, right? Mark Jackson was in there. They were making playoffs. They were making progress. But they didn't see a future that led to a championship. Enter Steve Kerr, who takes an unfinished product, but a growing product, and takes them to the next level. So that's how I view Bickerstaff. He's the guy that takes the growth part of the struggle, and then someone else comes in and reaps the benefits.
And there's two, and Jordan, I want you to piggyback off this and anything else you want to piggyback off of. What the two of those coaches have in common, Bickerstaff and Mark Jackson, although I think Bickerstaff strikes me as a way nicer guy, they didn't have good cohesiveness with their stars. Mark Jackson was not really liked by his players for the most part. It's the same way that the only reason they got rid of Bickerstaff or JB Bickerstaff is because Donovan Mitchell and him apparently didn't mesh. And Rick Rich Paul, the agent, the agent of agents over there, for every bomb ass people essentially. He said, and I think he even came out and said if he does sign an extension, Don Perignon does, then they want them to trade Darius Garland because apparently they don't mesh well together. So I don't know.
Oh, I've said that. I mean, I posed the question: which was the more unfit backcourt together? Was it those two, Mitchell and Garland, or DeJounte and Trae Young?
That's a bad one. Another bad one is James Harden and Kawhi when he's on the court. Because James Harden wants to block. He wants to block his own player. He wants to put the hands up in his face. That still cracks me up.
Yeah,
so funny.
I know
that's comedy gold right there.
I've already flashed towards him just closing out on Kawhi. Kawhi was at him "What are you doing?"
Kawhi was not happy about that either. Because also think about what that meant to Kawhi. I just now thought of this. What was Kawhi's biggest injury he ever got? Well, one of the biggest injuries he ever got was in the championship or the conference championship.
The landing on Pachulia, right?
Landing on Klay Thompson's foot. Yeah, and that's what got that rule set. So when he sees his own player come down, I'm like, imagine what's going through his mind. Like, what the hell's going on? What's going to shoot?
Yeah.
I was like, what is? He got PTSD really quickly. He was like, what is happening right now? We have a usurp here. We have a usurper. The dude takes off his next thing you know, he's like he's with the other team. That was hilarious. That was Shaq in the full gold right there. All right.
I got a great idea. You know what we should do? We should put Bickerstaff in Washington.
Oh God, no.
He is a grower, right? So go ahead and grow Jordan Poole, grow Kyle Kuzma.
How can you grow those guys?
Team, and then get them to 500 so that someone else can reap the benefits.
Oh, you grow
Why would you do that before JB? I like JB. Why would you do that?
That's awesome. What do you mean? They got nothing but time. Nothing's expected of them. He grew the Cavaliers to a point where they're in the second round.
Yeah, you grow something, all right, Joe. You're gonna grow something.
You're saying he's a grower, not a shower? No, at least he could have gone to the Hornets if we'd been patient. I guarantee the Hornets.
No, Joe. He's gonna grow something.
I don't think Charlie knew that they were gonna can Bickerstaff after they hired Lee. They hired Lee 3 weeks ago. They only fired Bickerstaff within the last couple of weeks, right?
Because they weren't patient.
Washington's growing something. It ain't gonna be flowers. It's gonna be this.
Calling it out, man.
All right.
20-10 player next year.
There you go. All right, Jordan.
The most amazing 30-win season ever.
Jordan, thanks for being patient. You have the floor, sir.
Patience, virtue. The worst. It's obvious. It's the Lakers. Why? Me is gonna be on you like they're gonna be on you. They're gonna microscope every single entire little failure that you got. Like you start 2-5. Oh, you're worst team ever. This is the worst one ever. Like. Mia's going to be on you 24/7, and you don't mean make it to a play-in. They'll go after you like hawks. That and ownership. And ownership. They are quick trigger fingers. I think they won 2020 with Walton, right? With Walton.
Negative.
Or,
Vogel was the coach.
Oh,
With
Vogel,
Bill-
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, no, Luke Walton was in Golden State at that time, I think, or something.
Okay. Vogel.
BT Dubs. Shout out to Luke. Tough week for him.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Vogel gone after a bad season. Darvin Ham, he literally said, "I don't know how we could guard Jokic, man. Come on, man." After he said that, even LeBron was like, "Yo, get out of here."
Even if that's true, you don't say that out loud.
Yeah,
He
say it
said
one more
the
time.
quiet part.
Say it one more time, bro.
He
Say it one more
said the
time.
quiet part loud. Even LeBron was like, "Hey, yo, gotta get out of here, man. Get him out."
LeBron doesn't do that, apparently. Apparently, he has no say on coaching choices.
That's what they all say. But yeah, like you're dealing with that. You're dealing with with ownership being quick trigger fingers. Like if you don't make it to the playoffs, get out. Like, yeah, I don't like that. And also the players. Anthony Davis gets hurt a couple of times during the season. LeBron, even though he's still amazing, he's aging. That, and you're stuck with Austin Reeves and his anti-clutches and Rui Hachimura. Oh my God, the Jokic defender, and you might be stuck with D'Angelo Russell. Like,
Oh my God.
like the roster could be a 10. At best, it's a 10th and 9th seed random play-in team that could win 2 games, but they poop the bed in the first round. Like, at best, you're a glorified first round exit, or at worst, you could be a lottery pick, and the NBA might rig it to be you to at least get the first round pick, first overall pick. So yeah, LA, no. The best situation is Cleveland. Like, even though like the media doesn't have like a big sight on you. Is it sight on you? It has a medium-sized sight because Donovan Mitchell is there. But even then, it has problems. Like you're dealing with that. Like you potentially might deal with the Donovan Mitchell rumors in which like he might be like a GM player and such. Like, I don't really see that in him. But yeah, you're dealing with him. You're dealing with his contract situation, and if he's gone, you have Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen. Good players, but they aren't stars. And Evan Mobley.
Yep.
So yeah. Like that's the least bad situation at least like for a new head coach. In my personal opinion.
I'm gonna shock the world on this one. I would have said the Hornets, honestly, because again, it's like the Wizards because there's no expectations, but they got a new stadium. They have already stars in place that aren't, named Poole.
Jordan Poole's a star.
He's a fading star, about to collapse on himself. He's
a 1-year wonder.
He had to have been bright at some point for you.
He's a red dwarf.
No. Once he saw the Washington Baddies, he's like, oh, I'm not playing anymore, man.
They're gonna try and trade one of them, but Jordan Poole, you ain't gonna get nothing but a Shasta and a bag of dollar Lance chips. So, I mean, for me, if you're lucky.
And that might be too much.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's what I would say. All right, you want the least expectations? You go to Washington, or it's the obvious one. LA is the Cowboys of the NBA. That's just what it is. You go there. Granted, Jerry Jones is actually more loyal to his coaches than LA is. LA's gone through what, 3 different coaches and 4
one more recently than the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, the other place that probably is not the most desirable place is Milwaukee because they fired their coach literally 3 months into his tenure, and then they hired the guy who actually hired him. So yeah, I don't know.
God.
I mean, if I'm JJ Redick, I would just hold out till next year. I wouldn't even, because there's gonna be more firings. Don't get it twisted. There'll be more firings. Give it time. And if like the Clippers position gets open because Ty Lue decides to leave, which I still think might be a distinct possibility, then because I mean he's had his. I mean, I know it's a reach, but he's had to suffer through a lot of nonsense, and he's such a good case, probably arguably a top 3 coach in the NBA right now. I would put him probably it'd be him and Eric Spoelstra, and Pops is kind of beyond the hill right now, but Pops has the pedigree. Hibbs has also kind of redeemed himself. There are others. I mean, Chris, I don't know, but the 2 best coaches right now are Spoelstra and Lue. So Lue deserves better, but I don't think there's any positions open that would be suitable for him at this point. Maybe Cleveland, because if they got him and with Donovan Mitchell, if he stayed, that would be a good fit. But then you got to live in Cleveland. So
again, it's better than Detroit.
How? Well, I mean, they don't set the bar.
I don't know about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, how did that all? I forgot. How did that all end? When he was there, because I don't think he would ever consider going back there.
I forgot he actually coached there. My bad.
How did that work out? I feel like that's.
I totally.
They won with Ty with Lue?
I actually don't.
They won with the white one.
I don't remember what got him. What was the straw that?
I don't remember.
LeBron. I think your LeBron wanted him, and then the ownership was like, you know what, fine, we get Tyronn Lue.
No, I think. Well, no, how he got. That's how they got him.
No. I was wondering how he left, because he was already on the staff with Blatt when they replaced him. But I don't remember how he was fired.
I think he was fired.
He was on the.
Oh,
I think he was fired, actually. Yeah,
that's wild.
I don't know if that's true. I'd have to be that.
We'd have to look into that. Yeah, because I'm having a mental breakdown right now. I'm trying to think of how that happened.
No, I am.
I think because I think it's either LeBron left then him or something like that. Because if my memory serves correctly, it was LeBron that left first, then Tyronn Lue. Right?
Well, he got fired, or David Blatt got fired, and then Ty Lue, I think, took over.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now.
Because people were perspective like, okay, no, LeBron was coaching the team, Tyronn was just a cheerleader.
Okay,
then he went to LA.
He was fired. He went 0-6 to start the
There he is.
To start the a season, and they fired him 6 games in.
Yeah, you're right. He ain't going back. He'd take a gap year before he did that. Oh man. Well, never mind on that one then. But if he goes, maybe we'll take a gap year. Maybe he'll stay this year, see what happens, run it back. Who knows?
I agree with you in the sense of the why would Redick take this role as his first role? Like, people have been asking about when it comes to the up and coming coaches, to be wary of what that first gig is, that it's not just like a disaster job just to get experience as a head coach and then just run it back afterwards.
Look at
it's like what you call it, the OC over in Detroit, Ben Johnson, on why he wouldn't take.
Oh God! Now that's another compensation on
terrible jobs. Like it's like, do you really want your first job?
Yeah, he wound up not. Carolina really wanted him.
Do you want your first job?
Oh hell no! I wouldn't take that Carolina job. But I think after the show we could go more on that later.
Yeah. But I mean that's why I could see where E-Rock's coming from on the whole Redick thing.
Why would you want
your first job to be this high stress, high pressure situation?
That's like when Jason Garrett got hired to be the Cowboys coach, and it's not even. Granted, he was already a coach there. All right. You know what? A better comparison. This would be like if a fresh person who hasn't coached yet, like DeMarcus Ware, got hired for the Cowboys. You know how much pressure, even though he's played for the Cowboys, you know how much pressure that would be? Like, it would just, and if you suck that first one, look at Steve Nash. I'm not going to give Chauncey Billups that same kind of
Yeah, I wouldn't put Chauncey there just because I bet you this isn't the team he thought he was going to be coaching.
He was set up for failure from the beginning.
Oh, we could put Bickerstaff with the Blazers. That's great. He's a grower. Listen.
Dude, they're not firing Chauncey. The reason they're not firing,
out.
You can't fire. You know why you can't fire Chauncey? You're gonna fire.
No, Chauncey's gonna leave. Like I feel like he's just gonna be like, listen, this isn't what I signed up for, and he's just gonna be out on his own.
You know why they wouldn't fire Chauncey though? Because one, the Trailblazers are fairly loyal. Obviously, look at Dame, but also Chauncey.
That's Stockholm syndrome.
You're gonna fire a guy who's fresh off of getting his Hall of Fame ring. You're gonna fire that guy literally the same year. Yeah, right. That's a PR. That's a PR shot right there.
Yeah.
That would look. It's like saying like ESPN or TNT firing.
Maybe it could be one of those what you call it. You know how they have those mutual parting of ways. Maybe it could be one of those situations, and then we put Bickerstaff with the Blazers. Delano Banton goes off 6th man of the year. Shout out to Oklahoma, and he can actually just get the franchise to 500 again, and then they hired a coach to get them back to the playoffs.
I would coach Portland. If Portland was part of this argument, I would choose Portland because again, this has to do with they have lower expectations, but they also in a small market. Granted, it's hard to get players, but you can go through the draft and. They are extremely loyal. They're like loyal to a fault. So it's like you have job security. It's not like it's the anti-Lakers essentially. That is what Portland would be. It's like the anti-Lakers. You could go there. You can be chill. It's a cool town from what I hear. But it's also like
I mean,
I don't know.
Team couldn't get anybody to go there. It was the same thing with some of these other
the Hornets. We can't get anyone to go here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have the same problem, and like unless it's homegrown talent, who's going there on purpose?
But yeah, but that's like
unless you give them a lot of money and or
No,
yeah, you gotta have to overpay or trade for your talent.
Look at the Nuggets. Yeah. Look at the Nuggets. Look at the Warriors. They got through the draft.
They get homegrown, exactly, because who's going to go to Denver on purpose?
It takes time, but that's the way it's going. There's no more big 3 super teams anymore. I mean,
you can get role players to go there, go places on purpose because they obviously they're going to go through the highest bidder.
And you can go through trades. I mean, we got even though we didn't do well because we were injured most of the year.
Okay, you guys want to move on?
Hold up. Hey, shut up. No, hold on. Let's say one more thing. No, the Hornets got Grant Williams, who's a Charlotte-born player, and another Charlotte-born player in Seth Curry. And granted, they lost P.J. Washington, but I don't blame him at all. And they got Miles Bridges back, but they're just injured. So that team, I think you guys watch out for the Hornets next year. I'm just telling you right now.
I'll watch them at the bottom of the standings.
Hey, you know what? We weren't last. We weren't the Pistons, and we weren't the Spurs. So it's okay.
Listen. If they're gonna suck, let them suck now because next year's draft is gonna be much better than this year.
Let's just thank God we're in the East. Let's say that. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be? They're gonna catch him inside because they're on the hardwood tonight. That's the spread. Money line straight up even. Whew.
It's tough.
Well, I'm letting y'all start. Go ahead. Prop picks, you know the deal.
Jordan, if you want to leave.
Okay. Dallas is looking like the hottest team in the West right now. The hottest team right now in the playoffs. I'm taking them in the sweat because why? My name have the Timber Puppies. The Timberwolves were playing this series like puppies. Like legitimate puppies. The only one that's a wolf is Anthony Edwards, and he's short. Like he's having posts, he's doing dunks. Yeah, his old team is like woo, and in his head he's like, guys, you gotta help me out. Help me out, man. Help me out. Because Jesus Christ, the Wolves are like puppies. Like cat has kittens inside him. Rudy Gobert has a Chihuahua inside him, and the rest of the team they're like a pack of fat wolves. They're just sleeping.
Pack of chihuahuas.
So yeah,
Pack of
they're like
chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas. They're like Chihuahuas. They're not wolves. They're Chihuahuas. And yeah, I take Dallas covering. I think it's gonna be I'm gonna probably take them the under, because like I just don't have confidence in the Wolves right now. And yeah, and my player prop. I'm gonna check and see.
You need to screen off to be able to check everyone. Apparently, that's it requires all.
That's the con of using your phone for this stuff. And yeah,
The sun hit
I'm
my,
gonna
my beam.
and Luka Doncic, over 3.5 threes.
Nice.
That's
a
my
good
prop
one.
pick.
All right.
Because he's gonna take over.
Senor Joseph, what you got?
Yeah, I've got Dallas. I've seen enough from this series to not want to see it anymore. So I'm just gonna pick that just for the sake that I want to get to the finals already. I'm gonna take the over here. I think we're gonna be somewhere in the 220 range. I think each team has a capability of getting to 110 at the least, which would take them to the above the 212 or 211 and a half that they're at right now. I am concerned about the not having Lively here. That means we're going to get more Gafford tonight. We'll see how that turns out. I also don't know Maxi's status for tonight. I don't know if they get him back today. I would sincerely doubt it. If they're up 3-0, why risk Maxi's availability for the finals if he's not completely 100%? So we may just get a Gafford heavy at the 5. So that concerns me a little bit, but not enough to pick the Wolves. However, on my prop pick, it's going to be a Timberwolf. I think I'm going to take the over on McDaniels' points. I think they're going to need him because I don't think Cat's going to show up tonight again. So therefore, they're going to need another option there in the starting lineup, and we know Gobert is only going to get putbacks and alleys as far as his points are concerned. So
Maybe
the only one that's really going to be offensively consistent and kind of fairly has been throughout the playoffs, honestly, is McDaniel. So I'm going to take the over in his points. Dallas victory, and I'll take the over.
I am going to go lone wolf on this. I thought you were saying you hoped for the series. I thought you said earlier you wanted the series to,
I'll change my mind because Boston's already won and they're waiting. So I just wanted that to happen already.
I got a different reasoning. I am going to pick. The more I thought about it, I am going to actually pick Minnesota. It's a pick 'em game. I'm taking Minnesota to win it. And you know what my reasoning is?
What's that?
Because I don't know what the next move for the TNT crew is, and this could potentially, if Dallas wins, be their last broadcast as the way that we've seen it constructed. So I want to see them carry it forward as far as they can because they got the rights to this series, and then it goes back to ESPN. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to have wishful thinking because I want to see more Shaq and Charles and Kenny and EJ. So that's what I want, and Ernie. Yeah. So, that's what I'm with it.
Someone's going to do it for Ernie.
Do it for Ernie. Do it for me.
Well, so
What's up?
They're vying for the year after next, isn't it?
I don't know.
Their contract's not up until after the end of.
This season. This season.
What do you mean is upcoming? Not this season.
This upcoming 20. Yeah,
no, they have
1
year left on the contract. They're just negotiating for next year.
Well, still, it's going to go to the off.
I thought the same thing you did, Urok, for a minute, but no, they do these negotiations a year ahead of the of the thing.
I got you. I could still see them being on like another. Like they're going to be on like, I don't know.
Barkley's like, nah.
I could be on like Netflix or something like that, or on like, I don't know.
Pat had an amazing idea, but he just didn't know if, which they don't. I don't think they have the same setup as I think that's a Turner product inside the NBA. I don't think they have like the same autonomy that Pat McAfee show has, but he thought that it would be amazing if they were to somehow be able to, under Barkley's umbrella, do something similar to what they do on their show, under Barkley's production company. But I don't think it would still be without EJ, I would think, because he's staying with TNT because he does more than just basketball over there. That would be amazing. Like if they wanted to keep the crew together like that, maybe have something on their own under Barkley's umbrella, and pitch it to streaming channels or.
I could see Amazon. Being that.
Yeah,
I don't know. They hate
Amazon.
They don't
Netflix. Netflix is getting into wrestling, so they're why not? Why not get in on basketball?
Well, as long as it's not going to be something.
It's going to be cable 2.0, man.
Barkley
without residuals.
Yeah. He already said he'd never go to ESPN or anything like that. And neither would Shaq.
What was it? He said they're not going to work me like a dog.
Yeah, they're going to work
ESPN.
They're not going to work me like a dog.
They're going to work me like a dog, not pay me. He's right there.
That episode was so funny.
Look how many people are like on there, like they're
look how
many times they're running people a day from 8 to like 12 at night. I'm like, hell no. He's like, hey, go work like a dog, not paying.
One show for 3 hours as opposed to working 7 for 7.
No kidding, man. They were
he's too old for that, he said.
Yeah.
Brian Clark and Dan Orlovsky even said they had to, like, because he lives in Connecticut or in Bristol, and he has to like travel during the day to New York. Granted, I know it's not that far away. Sometimes, and Ryan Clark would go from Washington, or he'd go from New York to Bristol to Washington or something like one day. I'm like, dear God, man, you ain't gonna work me like a dog, not pay me. There you go. That's right. I'm with him on that. Shaq ain't gonna do it either. He's too valuable. But I'm glad they're gonna have. You know what? Even if they're not going off the air, I still want to see him for another broadcast. So that'd be cool. Plus Kevin Hart.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it if Minnesota won. Like, as a matter of fact, I would love it for them just to, have that feeling over the. But then again, the other side of that's like, if they got swept out of the playoffs with that dog over there, Anthony Edwards, like he will be a guy that comes into the next season ready to go instead of using the training cap to get ready. Like,
oh, he would.
That taste in his mouth would be good. It would be better, competitive wise, if they get swept out of there.
Yeah, but I'm selfish though. So it's like, plus I like Kevin Harlan is better play-by-play than Mike Breen. Mike Breen's all right. I mean, he's just way too biased on the Knicks, and I don't know. I'm not a big Doris Burke fan either. So Mike Breen and Reggie Miller are hilarious. They crack.
You don't talk about Mike Breen like that.
Why not? You talk about.
Bang!
Bang! Yeah, he was so mad when the Knicks lost. He was like, "Oh, him and Doris." I'm like, "You're showing your orange and blue too much, bro." No, Kevin Harlan's way more. He's better. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's just personal opinion. All right, guys, let's go ahead and what genre you want to say? What kind of genre you want to say, bro? What you want to say? Jordan, you want to go first?
I gotta say this. Rest in peace, the Pacers. Bye. We'll see you back in the end with Tyrese Halliburton complaining about his hammies.
Oh, I forgot to get my player prop. I forgot about this. I have 2 of them for all you people out there. This is a shout out to Joe, who's on here today because he loves it when I do this. I'm going to go with the trios. And what does a trio stand for? Points plus assists plus rebounds. I'm going to go with Cat and Do, because Cat won't do, is eclipse 31 points on the trio. If anything has shown us anything this series. So go less than that. But something you can go more on, moron, don't be a moron, go moron. On that same team, Naz Reid, 18 points trio, and eclipses that. PJ Washington, 21.5. I could see him going off tonight as well. I think he'll eclipse that. That's my player props for the day. And where can we find you there, Jordan?
Yeah. Rest in peace to the Pacers. Hope you have fun. Hope you have fun in the Bahamas. And you can find me at JCRound6898 at Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, JCRound79. You can find me writing totally at Sports or anywhere else or anything really, like most totally at sports and stuff. But like, yeah, that's where you're gonna find me. And you can find me and you can find me here talking with these great human beings.
Meet me in the club. It's going down. Meet me in the bar. It's going down.
Oh, God.
Watching the bets. It's going down. We gonna make you some money, so get up and get down. But mainly get up. All right. So, Joe, what do you got to say, bro? What you got to say, bro? And where will we find you at?
Yeah, I mean, enjoy the game tonight. I'm looking forward to a Mavs win, hopefully, so we can start getting ready for a pretty awesome finals. I think a really good balanced matchup. You can find me at Java Joe Sports on the X. You can find me contributing to ScOutCast Media Hub here, and sometimes on the Pulse. I kind of divide my time, make sure that I'm available to the homies out here, and just talking some basketball, talking some sports, enjoying each other's company, and yeah, let's wish the Wolves the best tonight. It is the summer, so you're gonna want to get your Cancun trips out of the way early before hurricane season really kicks into high gear. Hurricane season is upon us pretty soon. I believe it's July to November, memory serves, but the tropics can get a little gnarly a little bit earlier in the season, because global warming and all that. So shout out to that. Shout out to E-Rock. Shout out to JC, my fellow Knickerbocker. And we'll catch you on the flip-flop.
On the flip-flops and socks and enhance your brain. It's a good OutCast reference. All right. And you know what about OutCast? Because this is ScOutCast Media Hub. We a bunch of outcasts, and we scout, and we do podcasts. ScOutCast. That's there it goes. ScOutCast Media Hub. And this is Paint to Paint. I want to thank all of y'all. Follow me at LivingGood09. We're going to see y'all, one love. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching, everyone. I appreciate you. We all do. And for now, we will bid you, and Rudy Gobert's language, adieu. We will bid you adieu. Here you go.
That way he's going to be saying that tonight.
All right. Peace out, y'all.